Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. I'm your host, Frank Rampin, alongside Sal Grinstead. Week 8 in the NFL season. Fins up after the Dolphins have a big win this time. Bounce back win for the for your boys, Sal. How'd they get it done this week?
I mean, I've been saying it all year. It's never a good team, and we never do anything special. But we will get your hopes up and go 9-8, miss the playoffs by one game, and get the 19th overall draft pick. So another great year to be a Fins fan. It's a beautiful Monday afternoon, so gotta love the Fins.
Let's go. Raiders did not play this week, so I'm ecstatic. Best week of the season for us. We did not lose. You know what? We might have. You don't know. But let's get things started. Thursday night football out in SoFi Stadium. And man, the theme of the week started on Thursday and it just continued. Beat down Central. It was just blowout city all weekend long. And it started in SoFi Stadium. 37-10. The Chargers end up winning this game. And Sal, I don't think we talked about this, and I want to get your take on it. That's 100,000% a pick and a touchdown for the Vikings, right? What are we looking at?
I would say so.
Wow, what are we doing?
It's crazy.
And I know I'm a Raiders fan, and people will say I'm just nitpicking, but there was a play, Kelsey caught a ball and hit the ground, and the ball moved. He had it in one hand. They're like, obviously a catch. Obviously. But, that's a catch and a touchdown. That's all I'll say about that one. It didn't impact the game. The Vikings got smoked on both lines. They did not look good at all, but that was a terrible call.
Yeah, and Kamani Vidal, man. Before he was starting, they were one of the worst rush offenses in the league. And here he is putting up 117 yards, just playing unbelievable. So, there's obviously you'd want your young rookie, Mario and Hampton, to play when he gets back. But Vidal keeps playing like this. There's going to be discussion who's going to be leading that backfield.
And how about Oronde Gadsden, the new tight end who's just came out of absolutely nowhere? That's 2 weeks in a row. He's just been unbelievable. 5 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. He's been great. Let's keep going. First blowout of the week was on Thursday night. And then we go into Sunday, the 1 o'clock slate. And this game, the only game of the entire NFL week that was a one-possession game, it was actually a 1-point game. Jets at Bengals. Jets looking for their first win of the season. And it did not look like it was going that way early. They were down 15 points in the third quarter, 14 points late in the fourth, and then everything flipped. The man that Woody Johnson, their owner, said couldn't complete a pass. Justin Fields actually looked great in this game, both throwing and running the ball. And he leads 2 back-to-back drives, one to get them within 8 points. They go for 2 to make it a 6-point game, which we've talked about a lot on the show, analytics. I don't love it. Works out in this case. They get it. They get the ball back. And Breece Hall throws a touchdown pass to win the game. Wild game this was. Jets win 39-38 and pick up their first win of the season.
This was crazy. A great performance from a guy we didn't even know was going to be starting until pretty much the game started. They had no idea who was playing quarterback, Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor. But when you play like that, you're going to play every week for him. So a great win. Kind of a shocking loss for the Bengals because you had the big win last week with Joe Cool at the helm. And he played great again this week, but he had the opportunity to lead him back down. But you think when you score 38 points versus the worst offense in the league, should be enough to win for you. And it wasn't the case. And Jets finally getting the win column. No more winless teams this season.
Yeah, and that's that Bengals defense for you. Just absolutely atrocious. And Aaron Glenn becomes the 4th head coach to have a 15-point comeback win for his first NFL win, joining Eric Studsville, Raymond Berry, and Lou Saban. So pretty wild stat that is. Get their first win of the season to improve to 1-7. But man, just a crazy game this was, and the only good game of the entire day. And going into this game, Breece Hall had 0 touchdowns on the year. He ran for 2 and threw 1 in this game. So just crazy. Keep going through that 1 o'clock slate. The Chicago Bears headed to Baltimore to play what we thought was going to be Lamar Jackson, but weird things happened. They reported that he practiced in full on Friday. On Saturday, they actually say, you know what? We rethought it. He didn't practice in full yesterday. Weird situation there. Lamar Jackson does not play. Snoop Huntley plays, and they look very good on offense. They finally used Derrick Henry on the ground. Finally, hey, you got a Hall of Famer in the backfield. Let's give him the ball. He had 2 touchdowns, and they win this game, shockingly, really, 30-16 over the Bears, who were on a 4-game winning streak coming into this one.
This is a season-altering win because I know you're dealing with the injuries of Lamar, but you lose this game and go to 1-6. As good as Lamar is, you feel like the playoff chances are over. But now you're still alive at 2-5. and kind of a tough loss for the Bears. I mean, you're in such a tough division in the NFC West or the NFC North. You got to win these games you're supposed to win against backup quarterbacks. So,
and you're talking about giving themselves a chance. Sports books in Vegas think even more than that, Sal. After that win, the Ravens are only 2-6, right?
2-5.
Or 2-5. They had their bye. They're the favorite to win the AFC North. The favorite.
I guess they did get some help this week with
They did.
Steelers. We'll get into them. Browns lost. Bengals lost. So they kind of did take a big leap this weekend.
They did. And I mean, the defense hasn't been great. It looked better this past weekend, but they're still going to need some improvement on that side of the ball. But if Lamar comes back and the defense can play okay, they have a chance for sure, especially with how the rest of the division's been going. And now we'll go into your Finn, Sal, headed down to Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, and they beat down the Falcons. Michael Penix did not play. I think I kind of cursed that. When I heard he wasn't playing, I was like, man, I shouldn't have talked about it so much. I said it probably 15 times that Gabriel and Tua played last week for the first lefty quarterback matchup in 20 years almost, and we're going to get back-to-back. And, of course, we don't get back-to-back because Penix gets hurt, and I love Penix too, so I think that one's on me.
Yeah, I honestly, even with Kirk playing, I thought it was going to be a beatdown for them. I thought
too.
Bijan was going to run free, and Bijan really was a non-factor this entire game. Their biggest part of offense was Kyle Pitts. I mean, Kyle Pitts had 9 receptions. That's as many carries as Bijan had. So absolutely wild. And finally, Tua did not turn the ball over 3 times, 4 touchdowns on 200 yards, whatever. I mean, we're still 2-6, but, you know, like I said, we're going to win some games we shouldn't win on the stretch. And what sucks, we have the Ravens here in a few weeks, and it'll be when they're getting healthy and getting ready for the playoffs.
And, man, like you said, Bijan, 9 carries. That's unacceptable. You can never have a game where Bijan has less than 10 carries. 9 carries is gross. 13 combined carries between him and Algier. That's just not how you're going to win a game, especially with your backup quarterback. I don't understand what the game plan was. Let's get in Texans, Niners. This was one of those games we talked about. Weird line. Vegas, somebody knows something, and I guess we probably should have went with somebody. The old Lee Corso line. The Texans really controlled this game from the jump. They had the ball for 24 minutes of the first 30. In the first half, they had the ball for 24 minutes, the most by any team in any game since the Jets in 2009.
Wow. I would say speak for yourself though on Vegas one. I picked the Texans in this one.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
I did, yeah. But this was a nice game for the Texans. They needed it to go 3-4, especially with how their division has been playing so far this year. They need to get going if they ever want to catch the Colts or the Jags. So I don't know if they ever will catch the Colts with how they're playing, but great win. CJ Stroud looked good. Woody Marks really played a great game, not only in the rushing side, but also in the receiving side. So they needed that help in the backfield that they've kind of been missing this year.
Yeah, it looks like they finally found their definitive number 1 running back with Woody Marks. And CJ Stroud, 30 for 39, 318 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. His best game of the season by far. I mean, offense finally woke up for them. And where's it been all year? Thank God. And they did it without Nico Collins.
And this 49ers team is really good. I mean, they've been hit with the injury bug as bad as you can get hit. They need their guys back. They need Purdy back. But finally, Kittle, I mean, he played last week, played this week, got in the end zone on National Tight Ends Day. Him and Jake Tonjes. So that was their only 2 touchdowns, both tight ends. So, you know, they love that holiday over there in San Fran.
Oh, yeah. Kittle, the founder of National Tight Ends Day. And it's basically a lock. You can just pencil him in for a touchdown every year on National Tight Ends Day. Yeah. He's just going to get in the end zone somehow. And it really is wild, the amount of production we saw across the league on National Tight Ends Day. And it's every single year. You'd think that some defensive coordinators would be like, hey, let's circle fourth Sunday in October, National Tight Ends Day. They're going to try to throw it to him. We got to cover him. It's easier said than done, I guess. Giants, Eagles, revenge game for Philly. This game really wasn't close, and Saquon Barkley finally got going. Second play of the game, he took 180 yards to the house or 65 yards to the house, and it looked like the Eagles of last year. This was their first game all season long in which they won the yard total battle. They had more yards than the other team. Insane. They ran for 250 yards in this game. Looked like the old Eagles, and man, they dominated this game, 38-20. Heartbreaker on the other side. Cam Scatterbo, one of the 2 rookies, him and Jackson Dart, who have brought so much life to this Giants team. brutal broken leg, dislocated ankle. He's going to be out for the year. Tough for him and the Giants.
Yeah, it's just a tough day over there in New York. I mean, you said it's the first game all year where they've outgained the opponent in total yards. And I would say the reason for that is it's the first game all year where Saquon had 100-plus scrimmage yards too. So it kind of goes hand in hand. And I said in the predictions last week, even though this Giants front seven is unbelievable, this was going to be Saquon's coming out party. He had 150 rushing yards and a touchdown, and he got a little banged up late in third. He didn't even play the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so he had a groin injury.
No question on how much he could have ended up getting in that game. I mean, he seems to be fine, but Devontae Smith, man, is having a career year right now.
Yeah, I've talked about him a couple times this past 2 weeks. No A.J. Brown this weekend. He's been in the news a lot, but I just keep mentioning it. Devontae Smith just keeps doing his business. Just stays quiet. Wide receiver 2, probably could be wide receiver 1 on 20, 25 teams in the league maybe. Yeah. But he just sits there, does his business, and every once in a while he goes off. I love Devontae Smith.
It's a Heisman
winner, baby. Bills, Panthers in Carolina. This game looked to be the best game on paper in the 1 o'clock slate. This was the only game between two teams that were over 500. And man, the Bills went into Carolina and beat down the Panthers. James Cook, over 200 yards rushing in this game. Most rushing yards in a game by a Bill since O.J. Simpson back in 1976. So it's been a long time. Josh Allen, 46th career game with a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. That is the most in NFL history. And he passed Cam Newton in his own house in Carolina, just ironically.
Hopefully James Cook sticks to the football side of O.J. Simpson and doesn't wander into the outside area. But he's having a career year as well. I mean, he's on pace for 34 touchdowns right now, which would shatter Thurman Thomas's Bills record, and I believe it would shatter LaDainian Tomlinson's record too. So, and everybody said this could maybe be a down year for James Cook. He's not going to get in the end zone as much. He's getting in the end zone more, and he's having more yards. So, just the expert analysts. I mean, come on, what are we doing over there?
And we've talked about both the Bills and the Ravens now, who have had their struggles. Obviously, the Ravens are still 3 games under 500. They need to lean on these bell cow running backs. Derrick Henry finally got his workload that we're expecting. They win the game. They score 30 points. James Cook, they finally go back to running him a lot after not doing it back-to-back weeks against Atlanta and the Patriots, and they dominate the game. You got to control the line of scrimmage. You got to be able to run the ball, and then everything else opens up. Both these teams need to keep that going, and that's not just because Derrick Henry and James Cook are both on my fantasy team. So let's keep going through the 1 o'clock slate. I believe this is the last game of the 1 o'clocks. Yep, Browns at Patriots. Drake May looks unbelievable, Sal. He's probably top 5, top 3, maybe 4 for MVP so far. He's been unbelievable.
He really has been. A lot of my friends actually ended up going to this game. It was kind of ugly at first. Browns had a lead for a little while, but I mean, they really couldn't move the ball. I believe there was a safety on Dylan Gabriel. I'm not sure what time in the game where he threw it away, didn't get it out of the end zone, no receiver around. I mean, that was terrible intentional grounding.
That was bad.
One of the worst I've ever seen. And Quinshon Judkins, he never got going, only 19 yards rushing. Travion Henderson actually finally got involved in this run game, and we've kind of been waiting for it all year. But, of course, he did have that fumble too, and, Mike Vrabel doesn't like that.
No, he does not. You're coming right down to sit next to him on the bench after that one. And Myles Garrett had 5 sacks in this one. And when they were showing you, the viewer, that he got 5 sacks, he was spiking his helmet in anger on the sideline. So, Myles, you got your bag, dude, but this is what you signed up for over in Cleveland. Tough. But, I mean, he's just unbelievable. And he also passed Reggie White for the most sacks ever before the age of 30.
Wow.
With 112 and a half.
Wow.
Wild. Bucs Saints. I mean, this was a very, very brutal game to watch offensively. Bucs scored a defensive touchdown on a pick 6 early. They should have had a second one. I don't know if you saw this, Sal, but there was a in-breaking route, about a 10-yard dig to Rashid Shaheed. He made the catch, made a couple of steps, made a football move. Ball comes out. Antoine Winfield picks it up to the house. Touchdown. Second defensive touchdown of the game for the Bucs. And then they said that there was a whistle. Same thing that happened in the Eagles tush push. They just said there was a whistle. You go back and listen to the game tape. There was no whistle. I don't know what's going on with referees. So over the past couple weeks, they've been horrible. They're messing up calls in primetime every single time there's a primetime game, so everybody in the world can see it. They're saying there are whistles, inadvertent whistles, even though they're not. You can't just make up that there was a whistle and stop the play. They did that twice this weekend. It happened in Philly on that tush push, which was just brutal. And then this play,
I'm just getting ready to bring that one up.
yeah, I this one made me think about that one. But just how can you say that there was a whistle on a play and then you replay the play? We listening to it with the audio, the field audio, and there's no whistle. Like you're just blatantly lying. You're lying about getting New York talking to your head. It's a bad look for refs this year, and I don't know what's going on.
It's terrible, and they actually talked about it a lot in the Giants-Eagles game.
They did.
There's a lot of missed calls. Obviously, the tush push where they called forward progress, where he was reaching, like he was at the goal line, that might have been the worst call I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, the tush push is hard enough to stop as it is. Now we're just completely getting rid of football rules.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I don't know if it would have changed the outcome of the game, but like, can we be for real about what we're calling here?
And the thing
why are we blowing the whistle?
The thing that really bothers me about the tush push one, that play, is I've said it multiple times. I don't think there should be a play get canceled because we don't like the way it looks. I think that's a bad excuse. I think that's a bad reason. And that play makes it even worse because everyone's just going to point to, the tush push. They can't officiate. A play like that could happen on any play, any running play. That could happen where a guy's fighting for an extra yard and reaches the ball out and fumbles. Like that should never be blown dead. I don't understand how that happens. And it's just a terrible look for the refs. Terrible.
All year they've been blowing plays dead before they're dead. Why not just hold the whistle for a second and see what actually happens? What is it going to be any worse than you blowing the play dead and taking away a defensive touchdown every time? Because they've done that like 4 times this year and took away so many defensive touchdowns. It's just unbelievable. But nonetheless, Saints suck, and they ended up benching Rattler for Tyler Shaw, and he didn't do any better. So a lot of questions there in New Orleans. Rattler was playing pretty well this year, but the 3 turnovers last week and then the one this week, that's going to get you benched.
Yeah, Tyler Shuck sighting down there. But man, just brutal. I don't understand how. Like, you can always go back and look at a play and say he was down, or hey, we should have blown this dead. You can't go back and say, hey, we should have rewarded a touchdown. It's just hold your whistle, let the play happen, and then go review it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because like you said, you can always go back and rule it dead. You can't blow the whistle and have the play still going on. It's just terrible.
It's brutal. Colts, Titans, and man, this was just a beatdown. Jonathan Taylor goes nuts again. He's unbelievable. He scored 3 touchdowns in 3 games in a row against the Titans. That's the first time anyone's ever done that against any opponent in 3 straight games. He is on pace for 29 touchdowns. So right up there for LaDainian Tomlinson's record at 31. Wild. If that record gets touched, that's a record that people say that was an unbreakable one. That would be wild if 2 guys could potentially get to it. But man, the Colts look like the best team in the NFL.
They're unstoppable. And you want to look at Jonathan Taylor and be like, what a great game. But then you also look at Indiana Jones, 272, 3 touchdowns. Then you look at Pittman, 8 catches, 95 yards, a touchdown. Tyler Warren, you didn't even really have to use him, but he still had 50 yards. Anywhere you look on this Colts offense, it's stars, and they're shining every week. Listen, Riley Leonard, he finally got into his first pro game this weekend. Didn't do anything, but he got in.
Listen to these points that they've scored this year, Sal. 33, 29, 41, 20, 40, 31, 38, 38.
Wow.
That's unbelievable. They're scoring over 35 points basically every single game. It's what Peyton never did this with the Colts. This hasn't been done since like the 50s, like Baltimore Colts with Johnny Unitas, like when they first invented passing the football. This is like revolutionizing the game. This is unbelievable what the Colts are doing here.
Yeah, and they're outright winners, the outright number 1 team in the NFL for the first time since 2009 too. So, wow. And that was obviously with Peyton, but still, that
was the year they were 14-0, and they didn't play Peyton the last 2 weeks of the year. So they could have went undefeated. That was one of the best teams potentially of all time.
And they lost all the rhythm, and then that's what happens to you.
Exactly. Broncos, Cowboys. This was supposed to be one of the games of the day. Honestly, everyone was talking about this game like it was going to be awesome, and Man, I don't want to like take a victory lap here, but the Cowboys defense sucks, and I think I've been saying that so loudly the whole year.
You have been all over that one.
I don't understand why these people on TV are such believers of the Cowboys. It's almost like I don't want to say it's almost like they're rooting for the Cowboys. You know, it's almost like they want them to win.
They are America's team, aren't they?
I guess, but like,
everybody in America hates them. Makes no sense, dude.
You know, I heard an interesting story about America's team thing. Like that's like a TV contract, basically. Yeah. Like Jerry Jones signed that so that the Cowboys could be in prime time all the time. And
it's America's game of the week every week.
Yeah, every week. Did you know that when I guess the NFL had that idea to make a team America's team, the first team that they had in mind was the Steelers. And they asked Art Rooney, the owner, if he wanted to be America's team. And he said, hell no, dude, we're Pittsburgh's team, brother. And Jerry was like, wait, money? Yeah. So kind of shows you the two differences in those two organizations, but I guess we'll talk about them now. Packers, Steelers, Sunday Night Football, the Aaron Rodgers Bowl, his old team coming back into town, chance to beat all 32 NFL teams. And Sal, I think something about this game, before we talk about the actual football that was played, I think we learned something about this game that we should take into account. The Steelers were wearing their throwback jerseys, right? Maybe one of the worst uniforms I've ever seen any NFL team go onto a field with, period. And I know we're going to have some disagreements here, but those Chargers uniforms last week, I hated them. God awful. You said you liked them, but consensus is bad. When you wear a jersey that looks like shit, you're going to play like shit. Chargers this week, they wore those awesome dark blue LaDainian Tomlinson jerseys, right? They looked awesome. What'd they do? They beat the hell out of them. They looked good. They played good. The Steelers looked like trash in this game, and they played like a dumpster in the second half. Honestly, it was pretty good. Chris Boswell, unbelievable. He doesn't miss kicks. Drives were stalling out. They couldn't get the ball in the end zone. They still had the lead, though. It was 16-14 late in this game, and they got outscored 21-6 in the fourth quarter. It was all Packers late in this one.
Yeah, and Jordan Love balled, man. 360 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's not a Padawan to Aaron Rodgers no more. Came after him. And I would love to agree with your statement on if you wear good uniforms, you play good, and bad uniforms, you play bad. But I feel like Dolphins have great uniforms every week, and they play like shit every week. So
hey, I think the Raiders have good uniforms,
right?
So you're right. Let's say specialty uniforms. You know, your normal basic ones, you can't call those ones because, you know, there are some shit teams that wear good uniforms. I'm talking more about like alternates and stuff. But let's keep going. Tucker Kraft, he had a day. National Tight Ends Day, we touched on that. And Tucker Kraft led the clubhouse. 7 receptions, 143 yards, and 2 touchdowns in this one. Big play after big play he made. And they showed the bar in his hometown with like 300 people in total back in South Dakota. Pretty awesome. But yeah, he had a great day. Jordan Love had a great day. And if the Packers can play like this on offense, with Micah playing the way he does with this defensive unit, they have a big, big chance to win the Super Bowl this year. And I don't know if I've mentioned this on the show. I don't know if I mentioned this to you either. Bart Starr won his first Super Bowl at the age of 27. Brett Favre won his first Super Bowl at the age of 27 for the Packers. Aaron Rodgers won his first and only Super Bowl at the age of 27. Jordan Love turns 27 next week. This is the year. Packers, put some money on him, plus 750 future to win the Super Bowl. History tells you it's going to happen.
I like that a lot, dude. I like that a lot. And they're right now the number 1 seed in the NFC, so not a bad bid.
That tie is going to be massive. That tie is going to be a big, big deal in the NFC playoff picture, especially in that NFC North. And usually we have been cursed with having to watch the Lions play on Thanksgiving because that's just kind of tradition. This year we're going to be blessed. Lions, Packers, the first game that kicks off on Thanksgiving. That's going to be a massive game with huge implications for both the division and the NFC as a whole.
Could you imagine scarfing down some sweet potato casserole watching Jordan Love and Jared Goff sling the rock? Oh. Are you kidding me?
Oh, dude, I love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving might be my favorite day of the year, favorite holiday. Like Christmas, yeah, Christmas is great, but man, having the best food maybe ever that you basically only get to eat once a year with a day that's synonymous with football just all day long. Oh,
and there's no judgment on how many plates you get either.
Oh, no.
Get in there and you get back in there again. And then take a little nap. You usually miss like the Broncos if they're playing. Nobody wants to watch them on Thanksgiving. And then or the Cowboys game. Always not fun to watch Dak. And then you wake up for the Lions because it's historical.
It's going to be awesome. Going to be a great day. Got one more game in the slate that's going to be tonight. Commanders Chiefs 11.5. Oh, I guess it moves to 10.5. Chiefs are favored 10.5. We both picked the Chiefs in this one. I'm going to give it a 99.999999999% chance the Chiefs are going to come out victorious on prime time on a Monday. They're not going to let them lose this game. There's no chance.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And with that being considered, you would go 7-6 on the week. So not too bad. I mean, like we said, it's always hard to pick NFL because there's NFL talent anywhere you look. You know, they're all NFL players. So you're 24-22 overall, a little bit over 500. And I mean, you got me in the college. I'm getting you in the NFL. I'm 8-5 this week, 27-19 overall. So you got 3 games on you, and maybe I can make it like 10 or 11 when we get to the end of the year.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. I'm like 10 over on college, or more than that, like 15 over on college. I'm doing pretty well there. So hopefully I can make my NFL numbers look a little bit better. But 2 games over 500, I'm not going to complain about that one because, you know, I'm a Raiders fan. You can be under 500 your whole life. But one more stat I want to throw out to you before we head out of here. There was only one game this Sunday that was decided by one score. It was that Jets-Bengals game that was actually a great game. Ended up being a 1-point win for the first win of the season for the Jets. This was the first day with 1 or 0 games decided by single digits since December 20th, 1970. 55 years ago. So this was the worst day of NFL football competitively since 1970, Sal.
Wow. And if you think about it like that, if history repeats itself, Dolphins will have a perfect season in 2 years.
Hey, there's always something to take out of it, Sal. So hopefully we'll see the Dolphins back at the mountaintop. Larry Zonka and the boys popping champagne with a new perfect team next season. We'll see if it happens. But that's going to do it for us here on the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. For Sal Grinstead and Frank Rampin, hopefully you enjoyed this one, and make sure to look over at the college football one as well. Peace out.